Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV drama series. Today's drama story is about the Raid Outcast. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I love doing the live readings because of all you guys. It's so cute seeing everyone together. Hi Pathra, I have another story. This is the same OP as the previous drama story called The Lala Discrimination. If you guys remember that story. This story I'll call the Raid Outcast. Remember when I said I couldn't possibly clear Asphodella's Savage until I created the Lala community? Well, this is the story of how I wasn't able to do so until I met my Lala friends. After finishing Endwalker MSQ, there were plenty of recruitment PFs in game. After managing to get all Shadowbringers X trial mounts, I felt I was ready for it. The first static I joined was a mid/casual one. We all prepare with gear, potions, and food as soon as they become available. I offered myself to take care of potion duty if they gave me mats, and so we all got potions. Our bard had a change of schedule, so he couldn't raid with us, but the leader's girlfriend would take his place. She played as a machinist, and we got into the first raid fight the night of the release. It was pretty hard for me, but I handled the mechanics after 3 days of reading guides and strategies as they popped on YouTube, Reddit, and Discord. It was my first time, so I couldn't manage my DPS properly as a healer, but at least I never got hit. Lana, the leader's girlfriend, on the other hand, died to every mechanic and barely did any damage. Lee, the statics leader, kept telling me I was healing too much, hindering the progress. I protested, saying, "I'm keeping you all alive. You should worry about the lack of damage." And he said, "Indeed, yours." "What about Lana?" I asked. But he kept saying she was new to raiding and it wasn't fair to criticize her. All he was doing with me was constructive criticism to improve because he knew how serious I was about it. I felt like an asshole and apologized. He said I could clear in Party Finder because we already saw in Rage. And so I did. That Saturday, I cleared P1S in the Party Finder as a dancer instead of Sage, with a terrible parse, but I did the thing. No deaths and mechanics learned. The next week was incredibly frustrating. We kept wiping because of Lana at the intemperance phase. Nobody said anything, neither did I. On Friday, I cleared again in PF and joined P2S with the same PF group getting to the second half of the fight. The static was still stuck on intemperance. Lee had a talk with me and told me, "We talked about you with the others. You should join a more hardcore group. You're clearly suffering here, so you must leave." I never said word about the situation after apologizing the first time, but every time we wiped, I would grunt and sigh out of frustration in the voice call. So everyone in the group noticed how unhappy I was with the lack of progress. Oh, when someone does that, it makes things so awkward. Like, imagine you mess up in the fight and then you hear someone go, "Oh shit." Like, I'd feel so bad. So it is kind of negative. The next day, I went to the recruitment Discord and looked for a mid-core group. When I saw Lee's recruitment message looking for a healer, this is his old static, it went something like, "Must be chill, patient, and show positive behavior towards learning members," all in bold and caps. I felt called out and started to think more about my attitude towards raiding. The second group I joined was a lot more serious. We cleared first and second circle, but got stuck at third. Just like everyone in Party Finder, stuck on the bird. The leader thought I wasn't skilled enough and needed to join a more casual group. I couldn't get mad at his words because for the first time, and thanks to him, I managed to get green parsing numbers. I learned a lot thanks to him, managing healing and slide casting to never stop casting. But I have limitations, brain-related limitations. Reason why I never do this as DPS, because paying attention to the rotation makes me die to mechanics, and paying attention to mechanics makes me fall behind with damage, lower than the tanks at times. So that's why I can only do healing and play as a sage. I rely on muscle memory for mitigation instead of reacting for healing. This second leader was so incredibly helpful. Everything I learned about my class was thanks to him. One day, while in a hunt train, I saw Lee mounting the phoenix, flapping around me. He had cleared all fights. However, the static he created was still not past P1S. Damn, they're still there. I guess Lee ended up doing it on PF himself. The following month, I joined and got kicked out of multiple statics. Every time, the same story. I was either so bad that I hindered everyone's progress or decent enough to be the only one surviving mechanics. I could never find the right group for me. One day, a friend of mine said they had a spot for a healer available. I told him I wasn't good enough, but he said it was fine and that he had seen my logs. I raided with them for 3 weeks. We always cleared first and second circle within 30 minutes, but got stuck with P3S. Before me, they had already cleared P3S once. When we finally killed Phoenix, they kicked me out and immediately replaced me without saying a single word about it. I was kicked from the Discord server, the link shell as well, and they never replied to my messages. My friend, the one who invited me to the static, was still talking to me, but had no idea why they decided to kick me. And I didn't dare to ask because everyone in the group was his friend as well as FC members. So he sensed drama, but promised to tell the leader to contact me. When I finally got a response, I was invited to the group call with the leader and the second in command. They said I wasn't fit for the group, that everyone was pretty quick at learning mechanics except me, but they let me clear with them out of goodwill, despite 3 members being against it. Then I went back to the recruitment servers. Man, oh, he just keeps going back to the recruitment servers. I feel so bad for him. Like he's just trying to find the right static. To this day, I have joined 21 different statics. Oh my god, more people would have quit by now, you know? They would have been like, I'm done with raiding. I've been to 21 statics. This stinks. All right, so to this day, I have joined 21 different statics ranging from casual to mid-core. Most of the casual groups I joined didn't even care about clearing, so it felt like a waste of time to raid with them. They raided for the memes, not the clears. While mid-core groups with similar skill level as mine were obsessed with numbers, and since most of my logs are gray, they just wouldn't have that. Even if I knew mechanics and never stopped DPSing and kept the party safe. There really seems to be no group for me out there. Towards the end of the tier, my Lala community was already growing, and many of our new friends were Savage and Ultimate Raiders who offered their help to get the Phoenix mount and nice weapons to everyone who chose to join. It was hard, but after 2 weeks, I got my mount and weapon. However, only because I paid 2 million gil to the only guy who wasn't part of our group. He joined our PF. I told him to pass on the loot and gave him the gil. My Lala friends laughed, saying that we could have kept going until I got the loot, but I was already sick of the fight. I couldn't handle the last mechanic. I think he's talking about curtain call mechanic. which I remember some healers had a hard time doing curtain call in PF since I did all of that tier in PF myself. We only cleared because one of my friends used rescue on me to place me directly on the spot I needed to be. That's so cute. For Abyssus, I have no reason to savage raid, as I don't like the weapons and the armors are obtainable from normal. It would be nice to get the dyeable versions, but my hardcore friends didn't like this tier very much, so I don't want them to carry me again through the fights they didn't really enjoy. The only reason I decided to raid in the first place was because of the weapon, the Asphodelis pendulums. Yeah, I'm the kind of guy who can't have a weapon if it doesn't glow. And at the time, it was the only glowy one for Sage. Yeah, that's true. That was one of Sage's first weapons. And I also think Asphodelis weapons are better than Abyssus. That's just me personally, I think that. Savage is too much for me. And what is a savage after all? Fanfic fights sung by the wandering minstrel? In the end, I have the glowy weapon I wanted, and I learned my lesson. I need to be more patient with people, and I'll always have my friends there for me. The end. I'm glad at the end he's found his group of friends that can play with him, and they happen to be his Lala friends. I'm glad they're all nice to help him. That sounded like that whole journey was hell, going from static to static to static to static. Yeah, most people would have quit. That guy had spirit. But you know what I like? I like that this story, at least the OP, like, admits his faults. Because not a lot of OPs admit their faults. Normally they're like, I want to be the hero. I did everything good. But I like that he was honest about, like, how he sighed and got frustrated, and that, like, he wasn't fit for some groups, and some groups he didn't like because everyone was memeing. There's too much drama in this game, to be honest. It's a social game. That's why there's drama. I couldn't do this to any other game, really. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's, like, drama stories here and there for other games, but, like, definitely not as much as an MMORPG. Stories like this is why I'm nervous to ever start raiding. Oh, everyone's nervous when they start, so don't worry. If you have a friend who will take you in, that will make you less nervous. Because that's what happened to me. I was so scared of Party Finder. I heard bad stories. And then someone was like, I'll take you in. And I was like, are you sure? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then after that, like, after you dip your toes into it, you get a little bit more comfortable. And then you're like, okay, I can do this on my own. And then the next step is like, should I be a leader of my own party? That's like the next scary step. I was like learning the Party Finder. I'm like, how do I do this? How do I just set the item level? And I don't know. I would freak out when people were in my party and I had certain things wrong in my party finder that I had to change. Like, it was like locked to Reaper and I was trying to unlock it. So I would just end up passing the lead to someone because, like, you deal with it. I don't want to deal with this. Because I was scared of people leaving. I feel like the moment someone seems like they don't know what they're doing, I was just so scared of someone to leave. But everyone goes through it. Remember, I told you that one story I did uwu on Party Finder and someone was like, Neko, because my name used to be Neko Pathra. They were like, Neko, you should do LB. And I thought he meant there and then, like, do LB right now. I was like, okay, this must be a reason why he's telling me to do LB. Maybe it's like some sort of mechanic. I just like hit LB. And once that happened, everyone left. They were like, I'm out of here. This person don't know shit. Like, because you're supposed to save LB for a mechanic later on. And I used up the LB. We just make mistakes sometimes. It's okay. Those people will never remember me. It's okay. Sounds like a good group, to be honest. They realize they are holding somebody back and straight up told them, yeah, I like that. Honesty is the best policy for statics. But, like, also don't do it in front of everyone on the call. I don't like it when someone gets singled out for, like, mistakes in front of everyone else. I think the leaders should just talk to them privately. That's the best way. Even statics got stuck on spicy burb. Yeah, that orange bird. Everyone hated it. Like, even as soon as Aglaya came out, everyone was like, yeah, I'm not doing bird anymore. I don't need bird. I could just do a glide, get the coin. 21 statics. Sounds like a bard band. They either have the worst luck or they are the problem here. Exactly. Like, I think he admitted that he was the problem sometimes in some of those statics. So he was the problem. They literally carried him. No, he's admitted that he has like a disability and that he does need to be carried pretty much. Like, so he found the right people to help him out. Moral of the story, get carried. Well, you know, that's the case for some people. Like they have to be carried sometimes, and that's okay. Like if you feel like you're not the strongest player or you have something hindering you, but you have friends to like help you go through it, that's totally okay. As long as everyone knows what they're doing there and what they're there for. Otherwise, it's a trap. It's a trap party. PF seems to be either be really good or really bad. Doesn't seem to be a middle ground. You can get decent people. Although I was reading a Reddit thread recently, and since everyone transfers to Aether to raid now, as soon as data center opened up, some say it's a blessing, some say it's a curse. There are pros and cons to it, but now everyone just raids on Aether. And so if you used to raid on Crystal, for instance, and everyone was like kind of mainly friendly there on the party finder, and then you go to Aether, and then now most people there are like toxic, that could be a little bit shocking. Yes, I'm hearing some people say that like Aether is a bit more on the toxic end for raiding. I don't know, because like I never actually raided a lot on Aether PF, because by the time Data Center came out for me, I was in a static already. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Final Fantasy XIV drama story. If you have any of your own drama stories that you'd like me to share and read out anonymously, feel free to reach out to my Discord, discord.gg/Pathra. And a big thank you to my kind members who support my YouTube content.